It's True Transformative Fitness. It's Sauna Talk. And the title of this video is I'm telling you what I know. So basically I had someone tell me that that they couldn't afford me, right? They couldn't afford my training and my coaching, right? And so my retort to that was that you can't afford not to afford me. So let me explain what I mean by that. The cheapest healthcare is preventative healthcare. Okay? What I mean by that is that if that individual changed their mindset and got ahead of their health, meaning that you're starting a workout program or what's so have you, it's going to keep you off that medication. First and foremost, you know what I mean? It's going to keep you from going to specialists to see what's going on. It's going to keep you from having to pay the copay for the medication or what so have you. You know what I mean? All that stuff by, again, I don't want anybody looking at my sessions as like a workout session. You should look at it as like a classroom session because I'm giving you tools that you use for life, okay, to keep you out of the hospital and keep you off medication, period. Whether you're paying for it up front or on the back end, either way you're going to have to pay. So the cheapest way is preventative healthcare, getting ahead of anything. You know what I'm saying? And then furthermore, I'm gonna dip a little deeper into it, right? So it's not just a weight thing. So I'm gonna hop on that GLP-1. So yeah, your weight is going down, okay, on the scale, okay. But what about that cardiovascular? You know what I mean? You got people eating like birds, eating very low calorie diets to achieve weight loss, right? When the missing component of what they're doing is metabolism. Even if you're on the GLP-1 and you're not working out, you know what I mean? Yeah, the weight is coming down, but you're not stimulating your metabolism. You're not causing any adaptation or any stress to your cardiovascular system. So no adaptation is going on. You know what I mean? So you're not fully healthy. You know what I mean? So I would argue to say that if that same person that's just on GLP-1 and not exercising or whatever, if I clone that person and I was to get that other person, they're going to be able to eat more calories. They're going to be able to eat more calories and keep their weight down due to the metabolism component. Okay? All right? You can't afford not to afford me. Okay? You know what I mean? It's going to keep you out of the pre-diabetic and diabetic range. It's going to lower your A1C. You don't want medication to do that for you. You want to do it naturally. You know what I mean? So you can go into your golden years, they'll be golden. You know what I mean? People use that term very lightly, golden years. Golden years is not golden if you're overweight, you're on a whole bunch of bag of medication. You know what I mean? You're out of breath from when you go to one side of the museum to the other. You know what I mean? You can't even enjoy yourself. You know what I mean? But it's supposed to be your golden years. You got to earn your golden years by investing early, so you can reap the benefits later. You know what I mean? And there's no shortcuts to it, ladies and gentlemen. Because you have to put in the work. You have to build the muscle tissue. You know what I mean? And then you have to get that your cardiovascular system in order so your heart is not working as hard. That's the whole point of, that's the whole point of cardiovascular work, right? The whole point of cardiovascular work is so your heart isn't working as hard when you're doing nothing at all. You know what I mean? So you'll notice that, again, here you go again. Somebody who's on a GLP-1 versus someone, I'm going to clone that person. The person who's being cloned is exercising. You know what I mean? They're challenging their body day in and day out. That person is going to have a lower resting heart rate than a person that's just on GLP-1. Why? Because they're steady stressing out their cardiovascular system. You know what I mean? And furthermore, another component that you're missing is the fact that you dilate your blood vessels naturally when the heart is pumping steadily. You know what I mean? Like I just finished doing some cardiovascular work. When your heart is pumping steadily, the veins are dilated, they're opening up. And what that means is that you're getting more blood flow throughout your whole body. And if you're getting more blood flow, any plaque, anything like that that's building up, you're flushing all that out. You know what I mean? So think of it like an oil change for your body. Every time you do steady state cardiovascular is like an oil change, like a blood oil change for your body. You know what I mean? And you're not getting that. You're running, if you're on that GLP-1, or if you're trying to eat like a bird, you understand what I'm saying? You're still running that same engine oil. You know what I mean? So eventually that engine is going to lock up on you. You see how that works? You see that works? So you can't not be able to afford me. You know what I mean? No one says that you... Listen, I do got long-term clients who've been training with me for a multitude of years. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is that you don't have to be married to me. You know what I mean? As far as fitness, you know what I mean? You learn what I teach you during the allotted sessions, and you apply it to your life moving forward. You know what I mean? You know, and it's going to keep you off that medication as you're getting older. You know, causing all kinds. And then, gentlemen, especially gentlemen, man. I mean, you know, you got to stay on top of your health, man, because you don't want to be taking. I mean, listen, I ain't judging nobody, but you want to be stimulating your testosterone naturally. You don't want to be on TRT, because when you're on TRT, you're gonna be on that for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? So you want to be able to stimulate that naturally by challenging yourself, lifting some man weight. You know what I'm saying? You know, challenging yourself, almost where you're running the line between, am I going to get injured? Am I not going to get injured? That's going to secrete that testosterone out of you. You know what I mean? You know, stop training like a wuss. And I'm trying to keep this PG-13. You feel what I'm saying? You know, but anyway, I know this sauna talk been going on a little longer, but again, you cannot not be able to afford me. You know what I mean? Even if you can't afford me, go look. I got like 500 videos out there. You know what I mean? Go look at the videos. This is the reason why I put the videos out there, for people who have that mindset to where, oh, you can spend your money on everything else, but you can't spend your money on your health, on something that can actually help you live longer and feel better and actually age gracefully. You know what I mean? I can think of 1,000 things that people spend their money on, but they can't afford something like that. Come on now. You know what I mean? And furthermore, you know, I dislike the fact that some people run into the wrong trainers where they give personal training a bad rap to where they don't think that it has any value. But it's value depending on what trainer you're dealing with and their experience behind that. You understand that? You know? So, you know, I'm here to help. Listen, I'm doing this because I care. I'm not trying to sell you the t-shirts. Not yet. I got to get my subscribers up. I'm not trying to sell you no t-shirts. I ain't trying to sell you no clothing, no merchandise, nothing. I'm selling you on living longer and being stronger. This is what I do with my free time. It's my passion, believe it or not. You know what I mean? I love it. You know what I mean? Not because I'm great. Well, I am great at it, but because it's my purpose and I'm feeling it. And, you know, and y'all need me. Whether you realize it or not, whether y'all tired of seeing my videos, which I really don't care. Because, you know, I'm going to drive this message home, because if this message reach at least one person and they start adopting an active lifestyle and they start living longer, I'm not doing this in vain. You know what I mean? So, you know, again, change that mindset, stay active, do not rely on pharmaceuticals. Rely on your will to live on this earth long. And part of that is challenging that musculature, right? And challenging that cardiovascular, getting that heart, keeping that heart strong. You know what I mean? All right, done.